Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, madam.
So, you got the information that when tentative dates have come for your exams.
Yes, miss.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I told you it will not happen in June, either in July or August, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, any doubts on from the previous things we have done? Any doubts anybody has?
Ma'am, please revise the class of programming and algorithm.
Okay. I'm just sharing my screen. So the concept in programming language, when you talk about, so every programming language has a certain syntax or way of writing, right? So first and foremost, we don't write the program in any programming language. We just solve it by writing it as an algorithm. So what is an algorithm? It is a step-by-step or a number of steps, finite number of steps, you can say, to perform certain computation and produce the desired result. Right? Whatever your problem is, whatever your question is, according to that, you have to write the steps for the algorithm and solve a problem and find out the output of that problem. So, whenever you talk about, like here, the definition of algorithm is an algorithm is finite number of steps which performs some computation on the input and produce the desired output in a finite amount of time. Right. And once an algorithm is chosen, the next step for a solution using a computer would be to write a program using the algorithm. So whatever you have written in the algorithm, now you will convert it into the programming language syntax and make a program. So what is a program? A program is defined as a collection of statements, or you can say a program is a set of instructions to the computer, right? Or sentences written in particular programming language. So that is a program. So remember that, right? So when we talk about all these things, so you should know what is a problem. A problem is to carry out a particular task, to solve a particular task. That is your problem. So you have to solve this problem, whatever problem is given to you, and you have to solve it according to an algorithm. You have to write an algorithm to so that it takes some input and produces some output. So once a problem has been defined precisely, a procedure or process must be designed to produce the required output from the given input. So since a computer is a machine that does not possess problem-solving judgmental capabilities, this procedure must be designed as a sequence of simple and unambiguous steps. Such a procedure is known as an algorithm, right? So basically, computer cannot automatically solve the problem. The problem solver is a human only, and he has to write the algorithm and then convert it into a program and then run it. Then your problem will be solved. So basically, you have to write the algorithm first. So the algorithms are designed using three basic methods. So you have three basic methods. One is sequential. Sequential means steps are performed in a strictly sequential manner, each step being executed exactly once. So step by step you are executing sequential manner, first, second, third, fourth, right, like that. Right. And another is decision or selection. That is one of several alternate action is selected and executed. That means on the basis of some decision, one or more than one particular selection of alternative answers are selected. Like we run if condition, or we run for loop, or we run whatever repeated the condition we if we run, or multiple conditions we run with if, then we select if is true, then true part is run, else if it is false, then the false part is run. Alternative solutions are taken according to the decision. And the third one is repetition. One or more steps is performed repeatedly, like in a loop. So the loops are your repetitive steps which are performed. So we want to find out sum of 15 natural numbers. So we keep on adding the first number, then second number, then third number, like that. So that is what repetition of steps means. So, so the program to implement algorithm on the computer must be written in a language that the computer can understand. So now your algorithm is written, whatever sequential decision, selection, or repetition you have made your program, made your algorithm. Now your program will be made. So program is made uh, which implements the algorithm in a particular programming language. So whatever programming language you have, it implements that, right? So that is what is there. So how to write an algorithm, first you should know. So before that, algorithm is written in normal English language. Step by step you have to write the code, right? And sometimes um, there may be a question of pseudocode also. So it is fruitful therefore to describe algorithm in a language that resembles the language used to write computer programs. So basically you want to write an algorithm which is comparable or resembles the language of your computer program. So this is called pseudocode. So that is, you write an algorithm like a pseudocode. So it is not a programming language with a rigid syntax, but is similar to one. The idea is that it should be easy to write a program by looking at the pseudocode. So basically you are writing the pseudocode first. That is an algorithm which resembles the language of your programming language, but it does not follow any particular syntax which the programming language follows. And then if you want to represent it in a pictorial format or graphical representation, then it becomes a flowchart. Right, a flowchart is a graphical representation of an algorithm. Right, so it can be compared to the blueprint of a building. Like you make a blueprint of a building, like the building will be constructed like this. Right, a prototype is made. Same way the algorithm is represented graphically through flowchart. So here algorithm has many things in it, like you have terminal, that is start and end. Start and you can say stop. This oval thing is there for your start and stop. Then computational processing or process is your normal rectangle, that is you will compute or you will find out some arithmetic operations and all that, or initializing will be this rectangle. Input output operations will be this slant rectangle, right? So input, if you are taking input in a variable from the user, or you are giving output print or something, then this boxes will be used. Then decision making will be this. That means if the condition you have to check, this is the diamond box will be used for decision making. The flow lines or the direction flow will with the arrow will tell you, line with an arrow will tell you the direction of flow of your program. And joining two parts, like if you have one flowchart in one page and the other part is on the second page, so this kind of a connector you can use to show that more part of the flowchart is there if you have, if your flowchart becomes bigger than the page, right? So like here, suppose you want to find the sum of two numbers, right? So what will you write in the algorithm? If you want to find the sum of two numbers, what will be your algorithm? Can anybody tell? If you want to find the sum of two numbers, what will be your algorithm? No? Simple, I am saying. If step 1 will be your start, right? Step 2 will be what?
Ping two
Take
numbers.
input two numbers.
Yes.
You can say you can take A and B if you want, right? Then step 3, what will you do? You have taken input in two numbers and now you will find the sum in C. So C is equal to A plus B, suppose, right? Yes. And then step 4, you will print the sum, that is print C. And step 5 will be stop or end. Any problems with this? Any problems? This way you will write the algorithm. This is the way you will write algorithm. So you can write this algorithm and many other, like if you want to calculate the subtraction, multiplication, whatever, you can write this kind of steps, right? Now for decision making, suppose you want to make a decision, like to find out whether a given number is even or odd. So first and foremost, this problem statement you have to check. How do you check that the number is even or odd? If the number is divided by 2 and the remainder is 0, then your number is even, right? And if you divide the number by 2 and it is not equal to 0, the remainder, then your number is odd. Yes, right? So the algorithm says step 1 start, step 2 it says input the number n. So you are taking a number, a variable n, you are taking an input, a number. Then in step 3 you will find the remainder on dividing the given number by 2. So how are you doing that? You can also find the remainder on dividing the given number by 2. So for this you can also write the step can be like this also. What step it is? Step 3, right? So step 3 it is, so they are saying you have to find the remainder by dividing the number by 2. So you can also write like this, that suppose your variable is remainder and remainder is equal to n divided by 2, right? So n divided by 2 or n modulus 2? What will it be? Tell me. Tell me, modulus will be used or divide will be used to find the remainder? Divide gives you what and remainder gives you what? Tell me, class, what is the modulus used for?
That's also divided.
That also divides, but what does the modulus gives you? What does it give you? It gives you the remainder, and if you divide, then what will be the output? It will be the quotient, not the remainder. Do you understand? If I use divide symbol, it will not give me the remainder, it will give me what? The quotient. Everybody knows now what is a quotient?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So for the remainder, I can write this statement that find the remainder on dividing given number by 2. So after that I can write this remainder is equal to n modulus 2. So you can write that. Then you will compare, you will check. After dividing, you will check if that remainder is equal to 0. The remainder is here in this variable, right? So you will check that the remainder is equal to 0, then you will print number is even. Else you will print number is odd. You can also have step 4 here also. You can put step 4 in if also. So after when if the number remainder is 0, then the true part of this is if this becomes true, then print number is even. If this part is not true, then else means false part, print number is odd. And step 4 is end or stop. Right?
Ma'am,
Any Hanji?
ma'am, is there any symbol to get the remainder?
Is there any?
Symbol
I am
or
not
character?
understanding.
Is this any character to get
This is the
remainder?
character, na modulus.
But you said it will give us question.
I said divide will. This will give you the quotient.
Okay, ma'am.
I said divide will give you the quotient. Modulus symbol or percentage symbol will give you the remainder.
Okay, ma'am. I thought the modulus will give us the question.
Yeah, it is modulus. It will give you the remainder.
Okay, ma'am.
Divide will give you the quotient. Simple slash. Right? So this way you will write the algorithm. Now how will you make the flowchart of this? So your oval is start and stop, start or end you can say. So you will start, then your arrows is there. So first you have to input a number. So input output box, the slant one, slant rectangle you have used, input a number n, right? Then for decision making, you have a diamond box, this diamond one. So you are saying if n modulus 2 is equal to 0. Right. So here we could have also written that if this was not written here, you could have written n modulus 2, right, is equal to 0. In C, equality is compared with this double equal to symbol, right? So if n modulus 2, that is n divided by 2 and the remainder is equal to 0. If yes, then print number. This is input output box again. So output is print number n is even. No, so print number n is odd. If it doesn't come 0, then number is odd. If it comes 0, the remainder, then number is even, and both will go to stop. Right? Any problems?
No, ma'am.
Right. Same way you can also write, and if you are writing the C program for this, so you will include the header file. Header file has inbuilt functions of printf and scanf. The printf is used to print a statement. Scanf is used to take a input. So for that you have to hash include this. This is a preprocessor directive. So hash include stdio.h in greater than less than sign. So this is a header file, studio in standard input output file, which have functions. So you have to include this. Then your main function is there, void main. Void means it will not return a value, and main and circular bracket means this is a function. Then starting of main block is known is curly brackets. So curly bracket is there, and what you see here is slash asterisk and asterisk slash. Whatever is written inside this is a comment, which will not be compiled by the your compiler, right? So here also comment is given to mark beginning of block, right? So this is another comment that curly bracket is the beginning of the main function, and then int n. The int is a keyword for or a data type, right? Data type that this variable n is a integer, semicolon. So every statement inside your this main should be ended with a semicolon, right? So here int n, that is variable declaration that n is a integer type variable. Now printf is a function which prints a statement. So how do you use that printf? So in circular bracket, you will give the statement in double quotes, enter the number, and semicolon, end of the statement. So predefined output function in header file to display the message on standard output device. So this is a predefined function printf which will print the message on your output device. Then scanf is for taking the input. So scanf, circular brackets, and in double quotes, this percentage d is your format specifier. That integer is specified by percentage d, that this value is an integer. So percentage d specifies that percentage d means integer value, comma ampersand n means the location of n. Please put this integer value in location n, that is n will be assigned this value, integer value. So this is that the predefined input function for taking an input from the user. So this you are giving an input. If n modulus 2, now your condition is there. If n modulus 2 is equal to 0, so this is the way you give the condition. So double equal to means checking equality. If n modulus 2 is 0 and 0 is equal to 0, if so it is saying if else condition to check an expression is true or false, and a branch accordingly as per syntax of C programming. So if n modulus 2 is 0, then 0 is equal to 0. If yes, then in curly bracket the statement is printf number percentage d, that is again the format specifier you are saying is uh, percentage d is even, double quote close, comma n. So this percentage d, the n will be displayed here. So integer value, the value of n will be displayed here. Else printf number percentage d is odd, comma n, that means number whatever n is there, value of n is there is odd. Else means the false part, after if means the true part, and your main also closes. This curly bracket is end of your main block. This was the starting of main, this is ending of main, and this is the else curly bracket, starting ending. This is two parts curly bracket after if, starting and ending. So this is how you write program in C. Right. Again, they are telling you to find the product of first and natural numbers. So first and natural numbers product you want to find. So they are saying start step 1. Then they are saying input number n. Right. Input a number n. N natural numbers are there. Na? So suppose n you are taking as 10. So 10 numbers you will take up to 10 product you want to find. So you are taking n as 10. Now initialize product equal to 1. So you are initializing a variable product to 1. And step 4, initialize the counter, comma I. Counter variable you are taking as I equal to 1. Now you will compute the product. Product is equal to product into I. That is 1 into 1. Product is 1, count I is 1. So 1 into 1, product is equal to 1. Then increment the counter, I is equal to I plus 1. So your counter is incremented and I now becomes 2. I was 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. I will become 2. Now you in step 7 you will check the counter, that is I is less than equal to n. Whatever value you have given here, suppose 10, 15, 20, whatever value you have given in n. So that I is less than equal to n. That means your counter 2, I is 2. So 2 is less than equal to 10. Yes. If yes, go to step 5. So again it will compute the product. Now it becomes product was 1. So 1 into 2 now. I is 2 now. So product becomes 2. Right. I is incremented. It becomes 3. So 3 is less than equal to 10. Yes. Again it goes here. Here product was 2. Then 2 into 3 is 6. I becomes 3. So 2 into 3 becomes 6. Then I is incremented. It becomes 4. Then 4 is less than equal to 10. Yes. Again step becomes here. So 6 into 4, 24. So this way up to 10 the product is being calculated repeatedly. This is how loops work. Repeatedly your statements are executed, and when the n, your counter becomes greater than n, so it will not go to step 5, it will come to step 8 and print the product of first and natural numbers. That is product is printed and it will end. Understand? So here How will you write the flow chart? Your start is oval, right? You have taken input in n in the input output box. Then you are initializing I to 1 and product to 1 in a normal processing box of yours, in a normal rectangle. Then you are finding the product is equal to product into I, and then you are incrementing I, and then you are checking the condition is I less than equal to n, right? Here they have written wrongly. This yes should come here, this no should come here, right? If I is less than equal to n, then yes, go to step this again 5, this one product is equal to product into I increment, and then again it will check until I becomes greater than n, so that will be no. So no should be here, yes should be here, and then no will be print product and stop, right? Any problems? Any problems in this? Right? And how do you write the C program is hash include stdio.h. This is your void main again, the same way above you have made, and then in your starting of main, and you will write int n comma I, integer type variable n will be declared and I is declared. Then int product is equal to 1, then again a product is also initialized, and product is initialized to 1, and then printf enter number n. You are enter the number n, that means the value of n. Scanf percentage e comma ampersand n will be the, here the value of n is taken. For I is equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus. This is for loop. So how the loop is working is I is initialized to 1, and 1 is less than equal to n, and whatever value you have given n 10, and I plus plus, whose volume is coming? Kya? Vinay, right? So what we are doing is I equal to 1 we have said, set, and then we are checking 1 is less than equal to n, and we suppose we have taken an input of 10, so 1 is less than equal to 10. Then if yes, then it will go inside the loop, that is curly bracket opening, and so it is finding the product is equal to product into I, and this is closing of this for. And again now I plus plus means incrementing I, so I is incremented, it becomes 2, 2 is less than equal to 10. Yes, it will again find the product, then again I is incremented, then it becomes 3, then product is multiplied with 3, then again it is incremented, then product is multiplied by 4, right? Until when I becomes 10, so product is multiplied by 10, and when it becomes 11, it comes out of the loop. It will up to 10, up to 10 it has to work, and then it will come out and it will say product. Printf product of first percentage d natural number is, that is n here will be printed, that is 10, natural number is, and your product will be printed here, comma n comma product, right?
Ma'am,
Kanti?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is that modulus D stand for?
That is a format specifier for integer value. Percentage F is for float, percentage D is for integer, percentage C is for character. So they are format specifiers in C for each data type.
And ma'am, in the first line there was I comma n. What does that stand for?
I comma n means integer variable are declared, n is an integer variable, comma I is also an integer variable. So both of them we have declared.
Okay, ma'am.
Both of them you can declare by comma, both, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You could also declare product also above, comma product is equal to 1 also you could give. and then semicolon.
Okay, ma'am. So after the comma, we can also specify that there is a product too.
Yeah, you could, they have specified it
One line.
in the next line. You could have specified int n comma I comma product is equal to 1 semicolon.
And
So
ma'am,
three,
we have to
you
write
can
the
define
full
3,
name.
4, 5, 6 variable in, you can declare that these are integer variable declaration. No problems.
Okay, ma'am.
Right?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in that flowchart thing, don't you think that last number won't be multiplied because it will increment and it directly the condition will be yes and it will go print product?
This one.
Yes, ma'am.
See, when suppose it becomes 10,
Yes, ma'am. So
I becomes 10, so 10 is less than equal to 10, right?
yes, ma'am.
So it will go here, yes. It will find the product, it will
Okay,
increment.
okay, okay.
Now it becomes 11, right?
Okay,
So
ma'am.
now
Okay,
it will check whether 11 is less than equal to n. No. So it will print the product then.
okay, ma'am. Thank you, thank you. I just confused with that. Okay. Thank you.
Right, then you have another question to find the sum and average of marks obtained by 20 students in some subject of a course. So here you will use array type thing which I also told you yesterday or day before yesterday, I think. So what will you do? How is array? Array is a continuous memory locations which is assigned a single name like A, B, C, S, whatever name you have given, and by the index value, the array index values, the index will have the value of your variable. So A0 will have the first value, A1 will have the second value, A2 will have the third value, like that. So if you have 20 locations, so your index numbers will be 0 to 19. Right. So you are initializing an array as array is a collection of similar data type elements. Right. So if it is marks, so integer type value you are taking in an array. So same type of value should be there. So initialize an array S. The name of the array is S for 20 students marks. So S in square bracket 20. This is how you declare in C your array. So 20 contiguous locations will be there from index number 0 to 19. Now initialize the sum because you have to find the sum and average. So you will initialize sum is equal to 0 and initialize counter is equal to 0. So you have initialized. Now you compute the sum. Sum is equal to sum plus S counter. This is the way you represent the count array value. So if you want the first value to be added, you have 20 marks, 20 values in array. So you have initialized the array with 20 marks of the students. So the first index will be represented as S in square bracket 0. So 0 counter is your first index, counter is equal to 0. So here S0 will represent the first student marks which will be added to the sum. Right. Then the counter is incremented. Counter becomes 0 plus 1, that is 1. Counter becomes 1. Now the counter is checked. That is if counter is less than 20, because 0 to 19 we have to go. That's why it is less than 20. So yes, it is less than 20. So we will go to step 5 again. If yes, go to step 5 again. Calculate the sum. So sum plus the next value is S1 because counter has become incremented to 1. So S1 location is the second value of array. So the second value is added to the sum. Now again the counter is incremented, it becomes 3. So 2. So if counter is compared 2 is less than 20. Yes. So it will again add the sum. Sum is equal to sum plus S2. The third location. S2 is the third location. The value in third location is added to the sum. Then again the counter is incremented. So this way it keeps on going until 19, and when it becomes equal to 20 it comes out, and calculates average AVJ. Another variable is there. AVJ is equal to sum divided by 20. Total sum divided by 20 will give you the average, and then you can print the sum and average and end. Right? Any problems in this? Any problems? Right. So here how they have made the flow chart. They have started the flow chart. Then they have taken the input in 20 students marks in S20, that is your array, and then they have initialized sum and counter to 0, and then the sum is calculated. Sum is equal to sum plus S counter in square brackets. So your index values one by one, the value in those index will be added to the sum, and counter is incremented, and then they are checking in the diamond box, is counter less than 20? If yes, then it will go to the again calculating the sum, incrementing, then counter is again compared, then sum is calculated until 0 to 19 it will do. When it becomes equal to 20, no, then it will come out of the loop and it will calculate the average is equal to sum divided by 20, and it will print the sum and average and then stop. Right? So same way, how do you write the program? Again, you will include your header file, your main, your starting of main, and then you are initially declaring the variables integer type I and sum, and you are declaring an array int s20. So this is how you declare an array in C, and then you are the average. You know that average is not integer; it will be a floating point number. Yes, a decimal number will be there, something, right? Whatever the number is, you are divide by the number, so some floating point number will appear. So that's why float is a data type. Integer is integer type value which is without decimal point, and float is with decimal point. So float average is declared, and then we are initializing the sum is equal to 0. We have assigned the value 0 to sum, and then we are saying printf entered marks for 20 students. So if you want to enter marks for 20 students, so you can do it in a for loop. For I is equal to 0, I less than 20, I plus plus, printf, the starting of for is there, then printf percentage d, that is integer value, is equal to I plus 1, that is first value is input, and scanf percentage d ampersand fi. This will be the first location, 0th location, s0's value in percentage d. This is a format specifier for integer. The first integer value will be put in the first location, that is s0. Then in I is incremented, it becomes 1. So 1 is less than 20, yes. So that is your second location, and s1 value will be put in S1 location, then S2 location, then S3, then S4, then S5 up to 19. These values will be put. You have put the values in your array. Now you have the variable I is also initialized to 0. While I is less than 20, until y, this is also a loop. So until while I less than 20, what you have to do, sum is equal to sum plus si. So you are calculating the sum, right? So and then I plus plus means incrementing I. Then I becomes, first I is 0, so 0 is less than 20, yes, so your S0 location is added to the sum. Then I becomes 1, so 1 is less than equal to 20, yes, then sum S1 location is added to the sum. Then I becomes 2, then S2 location, then S3 location, S4, S5, S3 up to 19, it is added to the sum. And then after it becomes equal to 0, it comes out of the loop. Then average is equal to sum divided by 20. This is how you calculate the average. And printf sum of marks for 20 students is equal to percentage d. So that is your sum will be printed here. Average marks of 20 students is equal to percentage dot 2f. F is percentage, F is for float, but dot 2 means 2 decimal places. Up to 2 decimal places, comma, average will be printed. Right? Any problems? Now can you understand algorithm and flowchart? Class, now can you understand algorithm and flowchart?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how you have to do algorithm and flowchart. So similar kind of question was asked last time. What? F is float. Float is for decimal numbers. I told you. Integer numbers are not decimal numbers. Integer numbers are whole numbers without dot. And average, whenever you calculate the average, if you calculate your percentage, isn't the percentage in decimal point? Yes or no? If you divide any number with any in another number, your decimal point will be there. So you are not declaring average as an integer, you are declaring average as a float. That's why. Right. Float means decimal point number. Right. Anything else? Any other doubt? Any other doubt, anybody? So were you able to access to December 2021 paper?
Yes, ma'am.
So because I am not getting it, what is coming in this? C is not coming in your exam. C language is not coming in your exam. That
Yes.
will be in second semester. They have just displayed how do you write it in C. Tell me, anybody has that December 2021 paper?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I, when I am seeing here, I don't have. I only have June 2021. So if somebody has that, then you can share it, or you can tell me what are the questions which were asked in December 2021. See, exam mode is still not declared for you. I don't know exactly. No, you have shared that, but I have not downloaded that from. This is which year's paper? 2011. You have shared. You have also shared the old papers, no? This is the one. Okay. First is convert the following numbers as asked. Convert 7, 5, 6 base 10 to an equivalent binary. Right? Yes, Mohit. Yes, Mohit, what is your question? Do you want to ask something? Unmute your mic. What is the problem with your LMS? Suspended your account. So that problem I can't solve. That you have to email to the COE or something. COE@ignu.ac.in. You can email them. So you the first question of the December 2021 paper is convert 756 base 10 to an equivalent binary. That you can do. Then it is convert 1.0125 base 10 to equivalent binary, convert 10110 to base 2 to an equivalent decimal, convert again to an binary to an equivalent hexadecimal, and convert hexadecimal 49AF to an equivalent binary. Right. So many times this question, I think prominently 2-3 years it is the same question. Question one, once A part is the same. Yes or no? Conversion.
Yes.
Right. Then is explained how the storage capacity and density of a disk can be calculated. A disk pack having a diameter of 3.0 inches has 5 plates, 10 recording surfaces. It has 5,000 tracks per surface with 128 sectors per track. Assuming that each sector can store 1 KB of data, calculate the storage capacity and storage density of the disk. We had done that. Remember? Recording surfaces will be there M, then 5,000 tracks per sectors, that is I think T or something, or S is 128 sectors per track. So you have to multiply all these. Remember? That is in which block of yours? I'm just seeing it. I think in memory devices it is, not in input output devices. It will be in memory devices. I'm just this is the portion you should know. Right? Suppose a hard disk or disk pack having n plates has m is equal to 2n, total number of recording surfaces. So they have given you total number of recording surfaces, that is 10 recording surfaces, right? And T is tracks per sector, that is 5,000 tracks per sector. P is sectors per track, that is 128, and S is equal to bytes per sector. So assuming that each sector can store 1 KB of data, how will you convert KB into bytes? Can anybody tell? 1 KB is equal to how much? 1024. 1024 bytes. Remember?
10 to the power. Yes, ma'am.
10. So you will have 1024 bytes per sector here. S. Right, and then your and pi is 3.14, you know that. Then storage capacity of the disk is m into t into p into s, right? So m t p s, this will give you what? The total number recording surfaces, tracks per sector, sectors per track, and bytes per sector will give you the storage capacity, and the density density of the disk will be calculated as S into P, that is bytes per sector into sectors per track, divided by pi 3.14 into D. What is D? D is the diameter of the disk, that is 3 inches for you. What is D? D is the diameter of the disk, right, in inches. So here they have given 2.5 inch diameter disk has 6 plates. 6 into 2 will be 12 recording surfaces. 256 sectors per track, 5250 tracks per sector, 512 bytes per sector. Thus, the disk capacity will be 12 into 256 into 5250 into 512. Can you see that? In bytes. So that is 7.69 GB. And decoding density will be your 512 into 5250, 256 sectors per track. So it is 512 bytes and sectors per track is 256 multiplied, both are multiplied, divided by pi, that is 3.14, into your diameter of the disk is 2.5. So this will be 16697 bytes per inch. Right? Any problems? This is what they have asked you. So it is a 5 marks question. So we had discussed this earlier also. Right? Hanji?
Is calculator allowed in the exam?
No.
So we have to calculate all this by ourselves. And
you
how
have
do
to
we divide the bytes in gigabytes? Is this any shortcut?
If you are not able to divide it in gigabyte, don't worry, just keep it in bytes only.
Okay, now.
No problems. Right? Any problems in this? Then you have to compare and contrast the following: impact printers and non-impact printers, which I already told you. Impact printers are those which touch the ribbon and print, and non-impact are those which do not touch the ribbon and print. Right? Impact printers example are dot matrix, drum printer, chain printers, and non-impact printers are laser printers and inkjet printers. Right? Then analog monitor and digital monitor. What is the analog monitor? What was analog monitor? Anybody can tell?
Like the old
CRT
CRT monitors.
Yes, the old CRT monitors were analog monitors. They were using a tube to display on the screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the screen was having a phosphorus on the screen through, and when the rays from the tube was uh, getting on the screen, so the phosphorus used to display or used to shine and display the screen. And the digital monitors are what? Your LEDs and LCDs, right? Right, are your digital monitors. So you have to compare and contrast that. Then, which statement shall be useful for repeat the processing task for the data above? Which data above? Okay, this is some other question. Okay. Then D part is you bought a raw computer from the market. It has only the hardware and device drivers loaded in it. It has only the hardware and device drivers loaded in it. Which software is essentially to be loaded into this raw computer to make it usable? Explain 4 functions of this software. Tell me.
Is operating system.
Yes. So you have brought a raw computer, you only have the hardware and device drivers loaded in it, you don't have anything else. So which software is essential? So that is your operating system. Then you have to write the 4 functions of this operating system. So it is an interface between the user and the hardware. It can do file management, memory management, right? Input output management. So you can write the 4 functions. Right, and while using a programming language, you are required to process the following tabular data. Which programming element will be used by you to process the table as given above? So if I talk about an array, we talked about arrays. So arrays are 1-dimensional and 2-dimensional. Remember, arrays are 1-dimensional and 2-dimensional, right? 1-dimensional array is just like right now we stored 20 students marks, so that is 1-dimensional array. If like if somebody has studied matrix, remember you have rows and columns. In a table you have rows and columns.
Yes, ma'am.
right? So in a table you have rows and columns. So to have rows and columns, you will have 2D array, two-dimensional array, or you can say multi-dimensional array, right? So in 2D array, the first the first square bracket will have the rows, the second square bracket will have what it will have? The columns, right? I just tell you. So if we have a two-dimensional array, so how in C the two-dimensional array is declared? A. So suppose we have 3 rows and 3 columns. This way it is declared. Can you see that?
Yes.
So this is how you declare in C a two-dimensional array. So here also, if you see this question of December 2021, question 1 part E. So they are saying that you have this array which have 3 columns, 3 rows and 3 columns. So first one represents the row, the second one represents the column. So which programming element will be used by you to process the table as given above? So which programming element you will use? You will use arrays. Yes? What programming element you will use? Arrays. Remember that. Arrays are contiguous memory locations of same data type. So you will use a two-dimensional array. What will be the data type of each element? Now there are numbers given in row and column. So numbers will be what? Integer. Yes? What will be the data type? Do you understand what is the data type? Type of data, right? Whether it is integer, float, character, what kind of data it is. So what
Integer.
will be the data type? Integer, right? And which statement will be useful for repeat the process task for the data above? For repetition, what will you use?
Loops.
Loops, right? So in C you have for, while, do while loops, so you can use loops for repetition. This question has been asked. C will not be asked. You will be asked the what are arrays or data type, or this thing has been asked. What thing will you use? So for repetition you will use this. Now given the value of A, now I am just writing here. A is equal to 7 they have given, and B is equal to 9 they have given, right? A is 7, B is 9. What will be the value of the following? So first they are saying B modulus A will give you what? Tell me. What will this give you?
Remainder.
What is the result? Tell me. 7 divided by 9. What is the result?
9 divided by
It will be 7 modulus 9, na? Right or wrong? Oh, sorry, B. 9 modulus 7.
No, ma'am.
9 modulus 7. What will be the result? B is 9, A is 7. 7 ones are 7. What is the remainder?
2.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what you have to give. Then if it is B plus plus, then what is the result? What is plus plus means? Increment. B is equal to B plus 1. So B is what? B is what?
9.
9.
So 9, what it becomes?
10.
Right? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Then they are saying A is greater than B. So what will be the result? 7 is greater than 9.
No.
So what will be the
False.
result? Right. Then A is less than B, or operator is this, or B is less than A. What is the result? A is less than B or B is less than A. That means 7 is less than 9, or 9 is less than 7.
7.
7 is less than 9 is true, right? 7
Yes,
is
ma'am.
less than 9 is true. Then 9 is less than 7 is not true, that is false.
Yes, ma'am. False.
True or false gives you what?
False.
In or is true. Any one statement in or is true, then it is true. Do you understand? If it had been and, if here and would be there, then both the statement has to be true, then it will be true, then otherwise it will be, both the statements are not true na. So in and it will be false, but in or it will be true, because one statement is true, that is 7 is less than 9 is true. So one statement is true, so it will give you true, or,
Okay, ma'am.
right? Then identify the network topology shown in the following figure. So I think they are showing you a star topology here.
Star topology.
If anybody has the I just show you. They are shown this way. There is a this thing. Then there are computers. Right. So here they are showing you. I don't know some computer shape is there or not. I will use this kind of a thing as a computer. I'm just to show you just to. Right. So this kind of a thing they have made. So what kind of topology this is? This is computer 1, this is computer 2, this is computer 3, and this is 00 hub or whatever you can say. Switch. This is a star topology. And you have to explain the advantages and disadvantages of this topology. Right. Advantages is that you can add a new computer to this, right? And the communication will be faster in this.
And the remaining network will work if one particular
computer,
device
yes,
gets altered.
yes, right. Given the following IP addresses and subnet mask, identify the valid IP addresses and find net ID for those IP addresses using subnet mask. So here they have given you, first one is 10.25 251, sorry, dot 250.256. This is your IP address and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Okay, here you have to match. Do you understand? The second one is 172.16.20.5 and in front of it is 255.240.0.0. Then is 192.168.89.25 and in front is 255.255.0.0. Then is 192.168.75.25 and in front of it is 255.255.255.0. So these are given to you. IP addresses are the first ones are the IP addresses and this is the subnet mask. So you have to identify the valid IP addresses and find net ID for those IP addresses using subnet mask. So valid 10.251.250.256. What is the valid subnet mask for this?
This IP address is not valid
IP address is
not valid
not valid.
because at the end it is showing 256, which is not a valid value.
Yes. So this is not a valid IP address. So just you have to say not a valid IP address. So net ID, the network ID will not be there for it, right? Then
Yes,
172.16.20.5.
it will be matched with third 255.255.
Yes, this is a valid IP subnet mask. Is this a valid subnet mask?
Which one?
The second one, this subnet mask. This is also not valid.
Yes.
This is also not valid subnet mask. It should be 255.255, not 240. Right. Then
Right.
192.168.89.25. This will be matched with this one.
Fourth one.
Fourth one,
Fourth
and this
one or
can
first
match
one?
both the ones, and this also will match with this one.
Yes.
Right. Now the ones which are valid, like this one is valid, this one is valid, this one is valid. So what is the network ID for this? Network ID for these IP addresses 172 which are valid, 172.16.20.5, the valid subnet mask is this one, 255.255.0.0, right? So net ID will be what? 172.16, right?
Yes.
And for this 192.168.89.25, this and this are valid. So your network IDs are where 255 is there, the network ID is up to that much. So 192.168.89 is the network ID. Here 192.168.75 is the network ID. And this one is
Yes.
known as the host ID.
Yes.
Right?
Ma'am, can you please explain? I didn't get it.
Because
See,
only 8
if you
bits
have
are
not
usable.
attended the earlier class, so you will not get it.
Because last 8 bits are only usable for give
See,
IP addresses.
there are 5 classes, IP address classes, class A, B, C, D, E. Right? The classes, the IP address classes, class A is starts from I think 0 to 127. Right? This is the range of the first class of IP address 0 to 127, and the subnet mask of this class A is 255 dot, I think
Yes, 000.
right. So what does this subnet mask tell you is that first one, if a class A network is there, then the first one will be the network ID, and other 3 will be the host IDs, right? Then class B network is from 128 to 191, right? This is the range of the class A network. So this one 172.16.20.5 is a what? Is a class B network, right? And the subnet mask of this is 255.255.0.0, right? That means first two, the 172 and 16 are the network ID, and the 00120.5 are the host ID, right? Then class C network starts from 192 to 227 it is, I don't remember, it is 227 or something like that. So the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. So that means where 255 are there, that means these addresses are class C network. So 192.168.89 up to this is the network ID, and .25 is, that is 0, is the host ID, right? This is what we studied last time, remember? And this, why this is an invalid one is that up to 255 only your this IDs will be there. So 10.251.250.255 it should be, it should not be 256. That's why it is an invalid address. Up to 255 your addresses are. Class D and E are reserved classes, so that we do not consider class D and E. So we do not consider them generally. These are reserved for future use and all. So there are 5 classes. So these are the important ones: 0, A, B, and C. So now can
Which
you
use
understand?
them DNE?
These are reserved for future use and multicast. D is for multicasting and E is for future use.
So ma'am, second, third and fourth are valid IDs.
Second, third, fourth are valid, and second one is your class B network, third one is class C, and fourth one is class C. And how to get the valid IDs? This the second subnet mask 255.240 is also not valid. This subnet mask is also not valid. This is not valid, and this is not valid IP address. This one, third and fourth subnet masks are valid. So these subnet masks, now they are saying you have to match the subnet mask. So this IP address matches to this one, this class B network, and these two IP addresses matches to this and this. Now how to find the network IDs where 255 is there, right? You have matched the subnet mask for the things, then you will see that where 255 is there, that is the whole network ID, and where 0 is there, that is the host ID. So 172.16.20.5 IP address, and if this matches to 255.255.0.0, that means 172.16 is the network ID, because if you put underneath 172.255.255.0.0 underneath this, so 255 is 172.116. Up till this is the network ID, and where 00 is there, 20 and 5 are the host ID. Same way, when you take 192.168.89.25, underneath just put 255.255.255.0. Then the first three where 255 is there is the network ID. 192.168.89 is the network ID, and where 0 is there, .25 is the host ID. Now can you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how you do it. So we had done it earlier also. Then what is the need of a browser software? List the names of 4 interactions or buttons that should be present in a browser. Also list the names of 2 popular browsers. So browser, we know that it is a software for surfing the internet, right? They are saying list the names of 4 interactions over, it must be interactions, they have written interactions or buttons that should be present in a browser. So you have forward button, back button, refresh button, remember?
Yes, ma'am.
So those you have to tell, these ones, these. Right? And the list the names of 2 popular browsers. So you can say Google Chrome, you can say Netscape Navigator, sorry, that is not right now. You can say Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, you can say Safari, you can say Microsoft Edge, whatever. So what is an instruction in a computer? Can you tell me what is an instruction in a computer?
It is a set of commands.
Yeah, set of commands will be instructions. So they are saying explain with the help of an example. So you can give any statement or instructions and you can explain that. What are different components of a CPU and what are their roles? What are the components of a CPU? ALU and control unit, arithmetic logic unit and control unit, right? And what is their role? CU and ALU, what role does they play? Which of these components interprets the instruction? Which component interprets your instruction? ALU or CU?
See you.
CU, control unit, right? Then they are saying, list at least 3 features of each of the following: spreadsheet and database. You have to write 3 features of a spreadsheet and 3 features of a database. Yesterday also we did that. Then they are saying what is a LAN? How is it different to WAN? List the characteristics, advantages and disadvantages of LAN. This also we did yesterday. Write an algorithm and draw the flowchart to find the sum of first and natural numbers. So they have asked you the same question which is in your book. First and natural numbers, sum, algorithm you have to write and flowchart. Can you do that now? Sum of first and natural numbers. This was in your book only, which we right now discussed. List any 6 activities that are a part of an e-learning software. Also list advantages and disadvantages of e-learning. So 6 activities which are part of your e-learning software. So you could log in, you could discuss forums, these, that. There are many 6 activities in the e-learning software. So you can go through them in block 3 unit. Last unit it is, I don't know, it is unit 4 or 5, whatever it is. So you will have e-learning activities there. What is the purpose of use of main memory? So you have to write main memory use. What is the purpose? If you want to read this also, you go to block 1, unit 2 or 3 it is, I think, memory unit, block 3. Block 1, unit 3, sorry. Explain the characteristics of RAM and ROM in this context. Also differentiate between SRAM and DRAM. So SRAM is static RAM, DRAM is dynamic RAM. So static RAM does not require refreshing. Dynamic RAM requires refreshing because it loses power after some time. So nowadays power saving thing is there. So that's why dynamic RAMs are used. So that is there. That is the third question. Fourth question is compare and contrast the features of the following data transmission channels: twisted pair cable and optical fiber. Then radio waves and microwaves. These are your guided and unguided media. What is a port in the context of a computer? Right, the connection where the device is connected to your computer, that is a port. Explain the use of serial port and USB port. So that also we did in block 3, unit 1. List the characteristics of any 2 input devices and any 2 output devices. So any 2 input devices, you can take mouse and keyboard or whichever you want, and any 2 output devices, printer or speaker or whatever, scanner, plotter, you can take. Then what is a perverse software? That is your malicious software. What is the need of antivirus software? List any 2 techniques that can be used by antivirus software to identify viruses. Also list the drawbacks of antivirus software. Antivirus software's drawbacks is that it sometimes makes your computer slow. right? And sometimes it doesn't let you open certain softwares also because it has what you say, it conflicts with the structure of the antivirus, so it doesn't let you open certain softwares also. Explain any 5 of the following with the help of an example or diagram if needed. Client server architecture, open source software, right? Then time sharing and multi-programming systems, then collaborations, then folders in an email software, and ASCII and Unicode disk checker software. These are the questions which these are the questions which were asked to you in the December 2021 paper, right? Any problems? See, that's why I told you, just go through the question papers and prepare those papers. You will be prepared for your exam. That's why I told you. Any problems? Class, any problems? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So we'll meet
No, ma'am.
at 7 again, right?
Okay, ma'am.
And tomorrow will be your last class, 5 to 8 only. So whatever more doubts you have, whatever discussions you want to make, that will be your last class tomorrow. Right? Everybody has put their attendance?
Yes, ma'am.